You pull up to the Bowser, you grab the handle, you swipe your card, and you start filling up. It is the exact same routine you completed last week and the week before that. And right there on the screen, the numbers blink back at you. $2.10 a liter. You sigh, you pay the money, and you drive away, accepting the hit to your wallet. It is easy to blame that high price tag on overseas conflicts or global crude oil shortages. Today, we are not driving away. We are freezing a single $2.10 transaction right here at the pump to trace exactly where every single one of those cents actually goes. Because when you audit the math, you realize the price you pay is completely detached from the raw material in the ground. Let us break it down. We start with the full $2.10 at the top of the receipt. First, we pay for the actual product. Extracting the crude oil from the ground and getting it onto a ship costs exactly 68 cents. That is the raw material itself. But crude cannot go straight into your engine. It has to be heated, separated, and chemically processed. That refining phase takes another 12 cents. Next, we move the refined fuel from the facility to your local storage tanks, and eventually the station. The trucks and pipelines add 9 cents. Then the local servo takes their cut. They keep a grand total of 11 cents per liter. That is their entire margin. Service stations make virtually zero money on the petrol itself. Their actual revenue model relies on you walking inside and paying $4 for a chocolate bar while you wait to pay. If you add all of that up, the drilling, the shipping, the chemical processing, and the retail markup, we are only sitting at about $1. The physical supply chain only accounts for half the price. So who is pocketing the remaining $1.10 from every single liter you buy? This chart shows the comparison between the retailer's take and the government's. The federal fuel excise tax is 48 cents, nearly half $1 taken by Canberra every single time you pump. And then they apply the goods and services tax. 19 cents of GST is calculated on the total price, meaning they tax the fuel and they tax the excise tax. It is a literal tax on a tax, bringing the government's total cut to 67 cents. Before the oil rig workers get paid and before the local cashier makes a cent, the government has already reached into your tank and taken the largest single slice of the pie. Even with the government taking so much off the top 4 fuel companies still reported collective profits in the billions last year. If retail margins are so tight, the math seems contradictory. The explanation lies in a highly specific pricing strategy that the consumer watchdog has investigated multiple times: the petrol price cycle. This graph illustrates how the cycle works in major cities. For about 2 weeks, prices slowly and predictably glide downward. They hit a low, maybe around $1.75. You feel a brief sense of relief. Then, virtually overnight, the line shoots straight up into the red. In 24 hours, the price spikes back to $2.10 or even $2.20. This sudden jump happens exactly when they know your tank is flashing empty, and you have to get to work the next morning. You cannot wait out the cycle. The corporations are not offering fuel based on what it costs to produce. They have calculated the exact premium you will swallow when you are backed into a corner. When you expand that $2 transaction across the entire population, Australians spend over $50 billion on petrol every single year. While energy conglomerates report record earnings, everyday citizens cut their grocery budgets and cancel holidays to keep their tanks full. Because the reality of the petrol station is that you are buying the ability to drop your kids at school, to see your family, and to hold down a job. In a country where adequate public transport simply does not reach half the population, getting behind the wheel is a strict geographical requirement. You have no alternative, which means you have no real leverage. You are a captive audience, and the entire fuel industry, from the global refineries down to the federal government, knows exactly how much that captivity is worth.